It's like I'm holding him right here, and go ahead and go halfway back right there. See what I just did? That's a good feel. Pull your arm underneath softly. Still get that grip comfortably over to where the V is going up the inside of the arm. And then just wherever your arm falls at that point, leave it. You don't need to try to get it under to the point where it feels like your hand's going to completely go underneath the golf club. So I like to put these a lot of times in a place where it's just enough to scare somebody, not enough to really, really hurt them. You know, I'm not going to put it like right here and then, you know, have to, I don't want that. I feel like the right hand's under and the left back of the left wrist is to the sky. If you're wearing a watch, it's like pointed up at the sky right here. That's what the feeling for you needs to be, okay? You guys know, any of my viewers know, I'm not a huge fan of sitting there going like this. I'm not a huge fan of, you know, the crazy, crazy rehearsals that are not realistic. But we've talked about how no matter how good we've got that backswing at points, your tendency for so long has always been just to kick that club out this way, that we'd be foolish not to have to feel something in transition that lays that golf club down a little bit. So first thing for John to start out with, Kevin, I'm going to get you right down the line here. Go ahead and set up, John. John's been through this with me, but we're going to keep grinding it. One, okay, there's the flat left wrist. Now here's the big thing. When this elbow pinches in, he can turn, and that keeps that wrist really flat. Now from there, he's going to feel a little bit of that motion right there, and he's just trying to feel that club work in this direction, okay? As long as we get that down the day, you know, we're working in the right direction. I'm back all right. John, watch your right elbow at this point. See how it starts to kind of widen on you? Yeah. Pinch that in, because here's the thing. When it backs up, there's where the hands will get a little bit behind you right here. And if you can look, we're closer than we've been, but you can see still a little bit of that cupping in that wrist there. Now, this is once again, closer than we've been. Hands and club are coming down under the right shoulder, which in the past, when I first started working with him, he was up here. And the club was literally coming straight on the left arm, okay? So this is already a tremendous difference for the better, but here's my only concern. The face being very open at this point and still being a little bit steep, right? Which is why when we look at our shots, you see it's in the shot trace, I'll tell you, it's on line, sometimes starts a hair left, but it gets that little cut to it. What is it about that backswing that can improve? Go ahead and set up over the golf ball here. So bringing the elbows in, absolutely. So that's a big one, right, guys? So like giving blood with the right, pulling that in to the left, that feeling there. So he's gonna work right now on turning his shoulders, keeping this pressure in here. So it's like I'm holding him right here, and go ahead and go halfway back right there. See what I just did? That's a good feel. That's the feeling. I mean, really, and I've been doing this to a lot of players lately. I actually love this. It's like, this is my new one. I mean, there's always this one right here. That's great, 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 great feeling for not backing up the arm. But I've been actually pulling this and saying, well, hey, you know, I always say the funny bone should point down towards the golf ball right there if you're in the skipping rock position. So why don't you just pull that, hold it over here, and let the arm go, and everything kind of works up to the top. And you can see it actually puts that arm in a really good spot. That's exactly what you need. Halfway back, I want to see the arms, the distance between them, stay the exact same width apart, halfway back. Okay. So let's make that a goal of the next couple swings. And I'm glad I didn't stand in front of the shot tracer, because even though you didn't hit it perfect, what do we have? Our first draw of the day. Little right to left. First draw of the day. So for our viewer right there, that swing, what was different about that, my man got his elbows together. And as a result, the hands and the body stopped together at the top, and he was able to actually get everything back underneath him. Whereas when the elbow widened, it just tips that wrist into this position, everything gets this way. That would not be a manipulation of your downswing. It'd be like more like this. It'd be more just in order to keep the club straight back, don't lock this out. Keep this a little bit softer and keep it down at the top. That'll keep your hand path a little bit deeper and more down, so you won't get on top of your shoulders and then transition steep.
Yeah,
just been head cover pinched under here, kind of a little bit like this.
Instead of that,
absolutely.
It's still the hands out, but soft elbow.
Soft elbow. There it is right there. Cool. Some people do this, and then they get too strong with their right hand. Okay, so let's address that. For him, it's a good thing because his tendency is to get too much like this. For our viewer, most of us are already here. So what I always recommend, pull your arm underneath softly. Still get that grip comfortably over to where the V is going up the inside of the arm. And then just wherever your arm falls at that point, leave it. You don't need to try to get it under to the point where it feels like your hand's going to completely go underneath the golf club. That is so good right there. All this garbage that people work on, and I mean absolute garbage of watching this stuff. I want to throw up when I see that. And if anybody sees that on YouTube, they should just immediately X out, because the reality is, and I'm serious about it, because it's a manipulation for what the flaw was going back. It was either in your setup or it was either in your backswing. There's a reason why. So what we did with Alex, and this is what I love, he knew it right away. There was no movement done of pulling the hands down to our pocket or dropping the club behind us. It was, hey, let's get our hands in a position that aren't up here so that when we rotate, they go this way naturally. Let's get them in a position that's more connected to our body with that softer elbow so that when we rotate, it just comes down the right path naturally. Mm-hmm. That's always, we always want, guys, our right elbow in front of the side of the body, not only in the backswing, but in the downswing, we want to have that right elbow beating our right pocket to the golf ball. So on these next couple, feel like that right elbow gets in front of your right pocket. The only bummer is this: when we get the laterals going, well, guess what? The arm stays back there and never gets in front, and then it just always caught, right? That was close right there, really close. There's certain things John and I do, right, that can help. There's this one right here, which I have come back behind here. I'll approximately put this at the angle of the shaft, you know, like the club. So he'll put it like, if he's holding it here, I'll put it like right there, you know, just to give him a visual in transition to be able to get underneath that, okay? And then what I'll do is I'll move this up ahead, you know, just left of his target line, so that when he's looking here, the visual will help him. You know, he'll be right here, and not only is he going to say, okay, well, I want to miss this, but I want to start the ball out right of that, okay? And you can see it gets it on plane. So this is a great way for him to really work his golf swing. Elbows together, that's all I care about for starters. And then try to feel like the hands pull right back down past your body on the right, past the right side. There we go. Ball started out more right there. It's more shallow. See that one? So what we'll do is we'll let him hit like 3 of these. And what I like to do with my players is I'll let him hit 3 without bugging them, and then see if they've made a little change. And then what I'll do is I'll film it and then compare it to the previous one, see if we can see a little bit of a difference in the transition. Oh gosh, that was so much better. Wow. Man, John, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
So once again, guys, for the viewer, while you switch clubs, I'm gonna walk them through this. Kev, come back in here. I'm lining this up approximately with the angle of the shaft. I'm putting it just in front of the golf ball, right? So if you look at it, it's not in a position to where he's gonna, you know, he's gonna hit it easily if he just comes right down. He doesn't have to work too hard to stay under it, but it's enough to where if he did get steep and go over, he would clip it. So I like to put these a lot of times in a place where it's just enough to scare somebody, not enough to really, really hurt them. You know, I'm not gonna put it like right here and then, you know, I don't want that. I want it just to be a little bit in front of the golf ball at the angle of the shaft, and in a position that just forces the hands to come back down to the same spot they started. The next one right here is the alignment rod out in front. This is great because when he looks to the side, he can get that visual of starting the ball out right and not left of that line. So you have a couple things there that are helpful. So when he plays today, what I'm hoping for is when he goes through his pre-shot routine, I want you to pick a spot out there. And sometimes that spot doesn't even have to be in line with your target. It can be just left of it. And you can say what? Well, guess what? I'm gonna get in there and like that alignment rod, I'm gonna start that ball just right of that spot, right? So that's a great way to play golf today and kind of transition from what you're doing here out to there. And Kev, you can stay right there. I'll just go right down the line. Elbows together, feeling, he needs to feel like the right hand's under and the left, back of the left wrist is to the sky. If you're wearing a watch, it's like pointed up at the sky right here. That's what the feeling for you needs to be, okay? If you can do more of this versus this.
Right.
You guys see how that cups the wrist? So watch my right arm. Ready? When this gets wide, look what it does. See that? The way that this arm, so it's not just your left wrist, it's the right arm affects the left wrist, okay? So it has to be together. These elbows together. Dude, that was the best golf swing that I've seen you make in front of me as far as everything from top to bottom that you needed to have done. Elbows were together, left wrist was flatter, that club was cruising down. That was on the top of your forearm coming down.
Yeah.
It wasn't on it. It wasn't between it, though. It was much closer to this
Yeah.
arm than it was at any point I've ever seen. That was fantastic, John. Oh, with the slip. With the slip. That was actually really good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Who is this guy?
You can ball flight and you can feel the difference when
John, I
it's...
mean, look at the difference, though. I mean, like look at it. I mean, listen, you know, you look at where this is.
Yeah, getting closer.
It's getting closer, buddy. And you know, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, for us, it's a huge sign of the hard work that he's put in. And the fact that no longer is it even splitting the middle, it's actually tipping down towards the right arm more. That is absolutely huge. Okay. The shot shape, he knows how the shot shape's completely changed.
Is just focusing on that soft right elbow. Because it's easy on your takeaway to pull back with your arms and pull back with that right arm very tense, but as soon as you relax that right elbow,
do you feel like it's almost like you're kind of giving blood, kind of like going like this?
Yeah, yeah, literally, yeah, it's soft. And you know how I have a tendency to get a little weak with my grip? It helps me kind of get in there and get my proper square grip, if not maybe a little strong. And then with that soft right elbow, you can still take it back straight. And see
what it does? It just lets his elbow naturally fold.
Exactly.
And it keeps his hands from going
instead of
out and up here too long. Yeah. Because when this elbow gets stiff, guys, watch this. That's the golfer whose the elbow gets high, and then it gets higher than the shoulder, and then that's where the head cover would fall out. But that head cover under here keeps that there. He'll get a little sometimes over tilted too far from the ball, and that arm will straighten out, and that's when his arm will fly. When he's in a good position here where that arm's soft, it all starts in his setup. If he gets that position, that arm just naturally folds, and that club's already in the right spot, you know, to be on the right plane. It's the same thing here, so it's good. That soft elbow that starts in the setup affects the way your hands travel to the top. It helps the hand path. It's beautiful.
Still, honestly, go even a little further than I'm right down the line. I can be a little more aggressive through it instead of like still like a little left and holdy.
Yeah, so what he's saying is if he's a little bit steep, he can't be as aggressive through the golf ball because he's got to kind of hold on to it right there. But if he gets a little bit deeper, that softer elbow, it's on a path to where he can rotate right around his spine more aggressively, and the ball just starts on line. So
the key with being a fader of the golf ball is eliminating the pull. So taking out that little outside in to me, it eliminates the left side. I don't want to have to fear me if I rip through one, it's starting left and staying left.
That's why the term shallow cuts is actually good. When I know shallow, just a little bit more in here on the forearm, not like some people hit cuts where like they actually, you know, you'll see the club go on their top forearm and then it draw on someone under. It's like no.
Yeah.
It should be neutral all the time.
Yes.
And it should be a little setup tweak that makes it do this or that. So yeah, that's what he's working on. It's great. It's good stuff. Beautiful. That was so good right there. At Forzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.